now, Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, the assistant Democratic leader in the House. Congressman, first of all, this is Senator Marco Rubio. He's scheduled to be speaking at this hour. He's going to be talking about reforming certain anti-poverty programs. He gave a preview over the weekend. Take a listen to what he said.
After 50 years, isn't it time to declare big government's war on poverty a failure? Instead of continuing to borrow and spend trillions of dollars on government programs that don't work, what our nation needs is a real agenda that helps people acquire the skills they need to lift themselves out of poverty and to pursue the American dream.
Congressman, let's start there. Do you agree at all that the war on poverty itself has been an abject failure?
Absolutely not. Thank you so much for having me, Craig. The fact of the matter is, you mentioned that it's 15% now, when it was 19% at the time President Johnson made his speech. The fact of the matter is, check 1973. 9 years after we initiated that war on poverty, it dropped to 11%. It has gone up since then simply because we lost our will to continue to fight the war. President Johnson told us from the beginning that it was going to be long and it was not going to be easy. Well, the fact of the matter is, the moment you start quitting, the moment you face obstacles, you aren't losing, you're just quitting. We were absolutely winning the war on poverty, and I can show you places in South Carolina and families like mine that's proof of that.
Why do you think we stopped the fight then? What was behind it?
Elections. Every time you have an election. I mean, when Ronald Reagan started mimicking the
welfare
women, the welfare queen stuff, that's the kind of stuff that will get you a soundbite and may even get you elected. But it won't do anything to solve the problems. So that's exactly what happened to us. People decided that they wanted to put their resources on something else. And remember, at the same time we were fighting this war, we were also dealing with civil rights issues, voting rights, the same kind of stuff that we're fighting today. After President Johnson's speech in 1964, we got the Voting Rights Act in 1965. And one of the ways to fight poverty is to empower poor people to go to the polls, get registered, and they can speak for themselves.
As I indicated there, we're going to hear from Senator Rubio a little bit later. Today we've heard from Eric Cantor. We heard from House Majority Leader. We also are expecting to hear from Congressman Paul Ryan in an interview at some point today or tomorrow. What do you make of what seems to be a concerted effort on the part of Republicans to start talking about poverty? What's behind it?
Well, I would hope that they see, as most of us see, that we need to direct our resources into these persistent poverty communities. That's why the Congressional Black Caucus has been calling for some time now for targeted spending in these persistent poverty areas. We believe the formula that we've been advocating of the 10, 20, 30 is something we ought to put throughout our government. That is to say, 10% of all the monies in a category should go into those communities where 20% or more of the population have been locked beneath the poverty level for the last 30 years. If we were to begin to do that, as we did in the so-called stimulus bill, when we directed rural development monies into these communities, people went back to work. These communities got water and sewage, roads and bridges that they never thought they would get. So that's why we have been advocating targeted spending, putting the money into these persistent poverty communities, and we will see a furtherance of the drop in poverty.
South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn. Congressman, it's always good to see you.